Winnipeg Realtors Market Report for March 2016 on this episode of Winnipeg's Real Estate Podcast, coming up.
You're listening to Winnipeg's Real Estate Podcast with Bo Kaufman of RE/MAX Performance Realty, answering questions for buyers and sellers of homes and condos in Winnipeg.
This is Bo Kaufman of RE/MAX Performance Realty, your residential real estate expert in Winnipeg, looking after houses and condos, buyers and sellers. And now we're getting into the traditional spring market. And as they do every month, Winnipeg Realtors, the organization which represents over 2,000 real estate professionals in Manitoba, takes a look back at the previous month, that would be March 2016, and gives us some of the stats and some of the outlook of what's going to happen this spring. So here we go. They report that the first quarter of the year is off to a great start, with the first 3 months showing an 8% increase in sales over the same period last year. What helps make this possible is a really great March 2016 performance, where sales went up 5% over last March. Now, the overall new listings dropped 9%, and combine that with strong sales. This month, the active inventory at the end of March actually is down from 2015. That's exactly the opposite of what's been happening the last few years, and it makes up for a fairly balanced market. Actually, the last couple of years, we've had a lot of listings. Now that's starting to drop back a little bit. Kind of a little bit better for sellers right now. So if you're looking to sell a house, I've always said spring is king. Right now is probably the best time to list as far as throughout the year goes. But you simply can't brush the entire market with just one brush. So if you're breaking down along the barriers of residential homes and condominiums, you see a clear difference. In March, if you took all the residential listings that existed by the end of March, it would take 3 months to sell them all, whereas condos, it would take 5 months to sell them all. So the activity in the housing market is definitely, it's a little stronger than they are in condos. Great time to buy a condo, but not so great time to be a condo seller. Now, having said that, there is definitely some bright news on the condo horizon. Condo sales have rebounded from a poor first quarter last year. So the 328 condos that were sold this quarter are actually 15% more than in the same period in 2015, and 8% over the 10-year average. In looking at just March condo sales were 167 units, and that's up 25% over March last year and 20% higher than the average over the last 10 years. As I said, condos, they've been dropping in price. There's lots available, and some buyers are starting to see that they are a really good purchase, a really good opportunity right now. The other noteworthy segment is residential detached sales of homes over $300,000. And this one, they're up 19% in the quarter when compared to the same period in 2015. This is great news for me personally because I've got a listing coming up in East Transcona. It's a 1,400-foot two-story built in 1997. Very nice, nicely kept. Great home, lots of nice features. It's going to be around $330,000. So if those sales are up 19%, that's good for my sellers. Now, overall, the year-to-date average residential detached sale price is now over $300,000. It's actually $300,844 if you want to be precise, and that's a 6% increase when compared to the first quarter of last year. So take that, CMHC.
And I thought this was going to be a dull day.
The most active price ranges for residential homes was traditionally, it usually is between the $250,000 and $300,000. And the two price ranges on either side of that were tied for second place, and that's between $200,000 and $250,000 and $300,000 and $350,000. So together, these three price ranges made up 52% of the sales of the market. The average day to sell a house in Winnipeg was 31 days, actually 3 days slower than it was last year.
Why the nerve of them guys?
Now, turning to condos, the most active price range in March was between $150,000 and $200,000, with about 1/3 of all sales falling in that range. Second most active was between $200,000 and $250,000, followed by the next price range of $100,000 to $150,000. Average days on market to sell a condo in March was 46 days, roughly the same, actually 1 day slower than March 2015. Now, I recently did an episode on this podcast about why you should not care about the national statistics, why we don't care about what happens in Toronto and Vancouver. So at least this market report here is just based on Winnipeg. However, having said that, you can see that there's a difference between houses and condos. There's certainly a difference between neighborhoods as well and price ranges. So there's no simple report that's going to cover all the different markets in Winnipeg. For that, you'll need a real estate agent. Give me a shout anytime. It's been Bo Kaufman with RE/MAX Performance Realty. If you're looking to sell, I'd love to give you a free market evaluation. And if you're looking to buy, nothing is better than starting off with about a 1-hour consultation with an agent. So call me for a free buyer consultation. We can go over what the market's doing, what your best options are. If you're looking to sell and buy at the same time, there's a bunch of strategy involved that we can discuss what to do first. Can we do them at the same time? So I'm always open to your calls. Again, it's been Bo with RE/MAX Performance. My direct cell is 204-333-2202, or you can email me at boknowshomes@gmail.com. We will do these monthly reports, obviously once a month, but in the meantime, this podcast releases new episodes every 3-4 days, and I've now got my own apps on iTunes and on Google Play, so that you can actually download the app for the podcast and keep up to date with all the episodes. These are always filled with tips for buyers and sellers, market updates, but also tips for owners and how to maintain a home. I'm going to do an episode pretty soon coming up about how to make sure your basement stays dry in the upcoming May, June rains, making sure your basement stays high and dry. So you don't want to miss any of the episodes. Make sure you download the app from iTunes or from Google Play, and it's going to be called Winnipeg Real Estate News, and tune in. And another way to catch up on all these episodes is to go to my podcast page, which can be found at winnipeg.tips/March 2016. There you'll find the episode's notes for this episode, as well as all other episodes as well. Till next time, bye-bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Winnipeg's Real Estate Podcast. All episodes are available on iTunes and Stitcher. When you're ready to buy or sell a house or a condo in Winnipeg, contact Bo Kaufman at RE/MAX Performance Realty at 204-333-2202 or email at boknowshomes@gmail.com.